Hi, it's Yuenny, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to do a kind of review on my Louis Vuitton Bosphore Backpack that I bought a few weeks ago. I managed to take it on holiday, so I think I've got a good idea of my thoughts on the bag. I'm going to do a video on the 10 cons on this bag, and I'm also going to do a separate video on the pros of this bag. I tend to prefer making kind of shorter videos, so I kind of split them into two. Hope you'll find them useful. So in no particular order, I'm just going to list the 10 things that I found could be a con for me at the time. Most of the cons have a but because of this, but I'm just going to list them, and hopefully kind of you find them helpful if you're considering getting this bag at some point or another. So the first one is it takes it's quite tricky to get in and out. So because of the buckle, you kind of have to open the buckle, and then what I found is that the drawstring as well, like once you kind of untie the drawstring, it's quite hard to kind of pull apart. That's what I found on the holiday, that it's just quite tricky to get in and out, and obviously tying it back up and then putting the buckle kind of, or doing the buckle up again, kind of took a little while. So that would be my first con, trying to get in and out, which takes a little while. The second con is that because the bag is kind of quite tall, and I find that the bottom is quite narrow, so most of the items end up kind of being stacked on top of each other, so it's kind of quite hard to find things that are at the bottom. And I had my sunglasses in there, which it did have a case, but it's kind of a soft case, and I was really worried that all the heavier items like water and stuff would squash it or cause damage to it, so I always have to make sure the heavier stuff at the bottom and the lighter stuff are at the top. But yeah, so to me that was a bit of a con, that it was quite hard to find things in there because of just the way the bag is. It's quite tall. The next con is, although I love the side pocket, once the bag is filled in the main compartment, it was quite hard to get the stuff to get things in and out here, because the bag was so stuffed. So yeah, it kind of filled up the area. So every time I kind of tried to put my phone back in, I would have to push really hard, and then when I tried to get stuff out as well, it was like almost like having to make room, like to open the side pocket up to kind of get what I needed out. And if you have to kind of more delicate items like delicate wallets and things, it might end up getting scratched and pushed around and a bit squashed, so that would be another con. These straps, although very comfortable, these kind of adjustments, if you have a lot of stuff in the bag and it's quite heavy, after a while they do kind of slide. Like you wear them on your shoulder, on both shoulders, and then if your bag's quite heavy, it tends to slide a little bit over time, and then you kind of at one point I realised, like, why is my bag so low? Like it was almost like on my bottom, like just carrying my bottom. I was like, oh, because these have like slid down a little bit, so that would be another con. The next con is this area being leather. Since I've used it on holiday already, I can see colour transfer. When I first got the bag, although pre-loved, it wasn't too bad. It was more kind of just the edge was a little bit darker, but since I've taken it on holiday, I can clearly see that there's like dark marks on there, which was caused by me, but that would be a con. If the whole bag was canvas, it might not be a problem, but because of the leather, yeah, just beware of colour transfer. Don't know if it's because of the shape of the bag. The next con would be it does go a bit out of shape, as you can already see, just with use and kind of here as well. And I think if it's quite heavy, the way the bag is kind of pulled at the bottom, it does get a bit distorted, and kind of like even when I'm not using it, the shape's kind of changed. So I think over time, yeah, it doesn't hold its shape, and this zip especially. Even when I set it down like that, you can see it's kind of, yeah, it's out of shape a little bit. The next con is the bag being a backpack and you wear it on your back, so there's potential pickpocketers that can get into your bag, especially the zips at the front. But that's kind of expected with any backpacks really, so not just this bag, but most of the times when I'm in crowded areas I end up wearing my bag at the front. That way I can access things easier, and I know that no one kind of behind me is opening any of the pockets. I didn't really keep anything valuable in these pockets anyway. I kind of just had packs of tissue, lip balm and things like that, so nothing that I wouldn't want to lose or anyone kind of stealing. So yeah, that would be the next con. The other con would be that there are no pockets or D-ring on the inside of the bag. There is one on the outside, which I find quite handy, it being over the zip, but there's nothing inside, it's just a big hole inside. So there's no way of kind of separating things if you have smaller items. So I ended up using like a smaller pouch. I ended up using the accessory, the Pochette Accessoires. So yeah, that would be a con. It would have been nice to have a D-ring inside, I think, but yeah, there's nothing. I feel like another con is the drawstring. I feel like the wear on the drawstring would be quite severe. Even just using it on holiday for a week, just kind of pulling it and undoing it and opening it, kind of the edges show a lot of wear. So I feel like the drawstring may be the first thing that would need replacing if used kind of often. Comparing to like the other areas on the leather, I feel like the drawstring is probably the one that will go first, so that would be another con. But I believe the drawstrings aren't that expensive, so that's not too bad. Another con is I only took this bag on holiday with us. I did have the Pochette Accessoires, which I used as a clutch if we were just like popping out to get some food in the evening or something. But this bag is, in my opinion, not dressy, so it's a very casual bag. So if you kind of need something that's a bit dressier, then you would have to potentially think about another bag. So that would be another con, just that it's just too casual for like any outfit. Obviously when you're on holiday and you're wearing jeans and t-shirt, it doesn't really matter, but if you kind of want to go out to dinner, I kind of feel a bit awkward taking this bag into a fancy restaurant, so that would be another con. So those were the 10 cons in my opinion on the Bosphore backpack. Yeah, they are my personal opinion, so those are just kind of the things I've noticed while using the bag. But like I say, a lot of the cons kind of had a but afterwards, so it's not that bad. And I know 10 sounds like a lot of cons, but I still think it's a great bag. I loved using it so much, and anyone who are kind of considering getting it out there, definitely go for it. Yeah, so please check out the top 10 pros. Not top 10, but 10 pros that is going to be on a separate video. In the meantime, if you have any questions, please leave them down below. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in my next video.